Good afternoon. Greetings Institute of Global Professional IGP Bangladesh. Greetings from the Institute of Global Professional IGP Bangladesh. Thank you all for joining us today and staying with us to learn. Honorable Knowledge Seeker. Today I am your host for the afternoon. My name is Badru. I am from Bangladesh, dear Knowledge Seeker. I am proud to be associated with IGP as a global member. IGP Social and ISO certified international training institute. In 3 years, we already served 3 million plus knowledge seekers from 100 plus countries. IGP is internationally recognized and globally accredited. We are connected to more than 250 plus professional and 4,500 plus organizations. In Institute of Global Professional, IGP is the training faculty for skill development which was founded in 2020 and is generating competent candidates to meet demand in the global labor market by providing professional qualification. The Institute of Global Professional is an educational institute that provides social work globally recognized and reputable. We serve students and community resource providing holistic social work and education. We believe that it's not effective to increase one skill just by offering formal education, so we provide effective training and consultation to Asian generations for all over the world. We distribute our services locally, nationally, internationally to student job seeker, job holder, and also for the learner, camp, respective campus location and distance learning platform. We are an occupational and dependable institute. IGP is one of the online training institutes from all over the world. Our vision is education is not a business product; it's a part of our human side. Based on our vision, we are trying to reach all the of the partners for free webinar, seminar, courses, award, quiz competition, mentoring, and counseling, etc. On the other side, we also try to serve more than 100 premium services for free, like create own portfolio website, resume builder, power letter, motivation letter, and Ball Knowledge platform for gathering general knowledge which can update all day. Kids learning game, free website, free courses, converse sites, and many, many more. We help to empower you to learn, to meet their expectation and dream, and become highly skilled people. We will implement several training, program webinar, and offline online courses for you and learner by professional trainer, speaker, and coaches. Our sessions are conducted by globally renowned professionals to develop all kinds of youth and to promote the education of their abilities and personalities. To ensure in-depth excellence, we arrange with qualified trainer, speaker, and instructor. Extended free services to more than 3 million knowledge seekers in last 2 years. We have affiliation with universities and organizations in several different countries. Virtual mouse signing with many colleges and organizations have been accomplished. We are working to create a legendary generation who will be accountable for future citizens. We are constantly prepared to assist all knowledge seekers with valuable service. Spreading knowledge is crucial for Institute of Global Professionals. We believe that knowledge is love and light and vision. So we try to understand the needs of today's generation and will serve them with good research and practice methods. We must have a genuine concern for the learner. We represent more diversity, growth, and innovation are required to lead a session with professionalism, passion, and integrity. IGP members are committed to offering effective best quality service and continuous improvement so that individuals who seek information can improve their skill level and knowledge. Before we move to the next, let me remind don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friend in the comment box. Support is very valuable for us. Thank you. Moving to the next with your continuous support, we already completed 1,258 webinars successfully. Wow. Before we move to the next, let me remind don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friend in the comment box. Support is very valuable for us. Thank you. Moving to the next with your continuous support. We already completed 1,258 webinars successfully. Wow. At present, we are going to start our 1,259 program, which name is an effective school max- mechanism to improve school achievement. And today our speaker's name is Carlos Tian Chausi Charles. He is from Philippines. Before I hand over the speech to our speaker, sir, I want to share a very little bit about our speaker. He is an education program supervisor, Suryago del Sur Division, SG22. Now, very important moment for me to invite our speaker to IGP with his presentation. Now, very important moment for me to invite our speaker to IGP with his presentation. Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Sir, the stage is yours. You can start your presentation now.
Okay, am I very clear? Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Again, welcome. Welcome to the International Global Professionals. And this afternoon is I'm going to have a session on effective school mechanism to improve school achievement. This will be addressing the challenges encountered also by our school heads in how are they going to promote effective mechanism in schools to improve the learning outcomes. So, school leadership is now an education policy priority around the world. Um, Increased school autonomy and a greater focus on schooling and, of course, school results have made it very essential to reconsider the role of the school leaders. In several research findings, there is much room for improvement to professionalize school leadership, to support current school leaders, and to make the school leadership an attractive career for future leaders. School leadership has also become a priority in education policy agendas internationally. It plays a key role in improving the school outcomes by influencing motivation and capacities of teachers, as well as the school climate and the environment. It is always said that effective school leadership is essential to improve the efficiency and equity of schooling. So these are some of the factors that makes the school effective. Uh, Number one, we have school quality of leadership. It talks about how leaders are promoting quality in all aspects of school management. We have also high expectations of students and teachers. What standards and targets are we putting into our school systems? Of course, in ongoing evaluation of students' performance, because this is where we see how effective the instructions and the implementation of the different programs, projects, and activities. Of course, the goals and directions of the different interventions and targets of the school to achieve the desired learning outcomes, secure and organized management processes, and of course, the size of the school. So these six factors make the school effective, but it depends upon how leaders are taking into consideration the different systems, processes, and leadership management. So let us take a look at redefining school leadership responsibilities. School leaders must first understand the roles and responsibilities, and they will be able they can be able to define they can be able to define these responsibilities, to be able to translate these responsibilities into tasks and actions. So research has shown that school leaders can make a difference in school and, of course, student performance if they are granted autonomy to make important decisions. However, autonomy alone does not automatically lead to improvements unless it is well supported. In addition, it is important that the core responsibilities of the school leaders can be clearly defined and delimited. School leaders and school leadership responsibilities should be defined through an understanding of the practices most likely to improve the teaching and learning process. School leaders, need time, capacity, and support to focus on the practices most likely to improve student learning. Uh, the first uh, the first responsibility that the schools will define and of course redefine is to provide higher degrees of autonomy with appropriate support. Greater degrees of autonomy should be coupled with new models of distributed leadership, new types of accountability, and training and development for school leadership. There are practices in the old management styles that somehow is applicable, but there are some also practices in the old times that were not applicable as of this moment. So in redefining school leadership responsibilities for improving the learning outcomes or the student learning, policymakers and practitioners need to ensure that the roles and responsibilities associated with improved learning outcomes are at the core of leadership practice. There are four, no? There are four major domains of responsibility as key for school leadership to improve student outcomes. And let us take a look one by one on these four major domains as a responsibility for school leaders. So the first responsibility is supporting, evaluating, and developing teacher quality. First, leadership focused on supporting, evaluating, and developing teacher quality is widely recognized as a core component of effective leadership. Teacher quality is perhaps the most important school level determinant of student performance. The leadership responsibilities associated with improved teacher quality includes coordinating the curriculum and teaching programs, monitoring and evaluating teacher practice, promoting teacher professional development, and of course, supporting collaborative work cultures. Supporting, evaluating, and developing teacher quality, school leaders have to be able to adapt the teaching program to local needs, promote teamwork among teachers, and engage in teaching, monitoring, and professional development. In different schools, in different communities, there are different contexts on how are we going to promote teacher quality as to the local needs. And that is where localization comes in. The curriculum also should be fitting to the local context, and that is where contextualization and localization of the curriculum will go through. The second one is a goal setting, assessment, and accountability. A school leadership that concentrates on setting learning objectives and implementing intelligent assessment systems have been found to help students develop their full potential. So, in aligning instructions with national standards and setting school goals for student performance or measuring progress against those goals, and making adjustments in the school program to improve individual and overall performance are the dynamic aspects of managing curriculum and instruction. So school leaders' purposeful use of data is essential to ensure that attention is being paid to the progress of every student. So in goal setting, assessment, and accountability, school heads and policymakers need to ensure that school leaders have discretion in setting direction and optimize their capacity to develop school plans and goals and monitor progress using the school data to improve the different practices. And moving on is the third major indicator, which is strategic, financial, and human resource management. With increased school autonomy, with increased school autonomy policies, school leaders have more and more discretion over human and financial resource management. The strategic use of resources and their alignment with pedagogical purposes are key to focusing all operational activities within school on the objective of improving teaching and learning. So, in strategic, financial, and human resource management, school leaders and policymakers can enhance the financial management skills of school leadership teams by providing training to school leaders, establishing the role of a financial manager within the leadership team, or providing financial support services to schools. In addition, school leaders should be able to influence teacher manager within the leadership team, and school leaders also should be able to influence teacher recruitment decisions to improve the match between candidates and, of course, the school needs. And the fourth indicator is collaborating with other schools. Recent research has highlighted the benefits of school leadership beyond the school borders, various leadership engagements beyond the schools, in partnership with other schools, communities, other communities, social agencies, universities, and policymakers can increase professional learning. Aside from increasing professional learning, this can also enhance improvement through the mutual assistance and create greater cohesion among all concerned with the achievement and well-being of every child. So in collaborating with other schools, the new leadership dimension needs to be recognized as a specific role for school leaders. It can bring benefits to school systems as a whole rather than just students of a single school. But school leaders need to develop their skills also to become involved in matters beyond their school borders. So while these domains have proved to be important, to be an important leadership domains in many settings, there should be room for individualization by size and type of school and by local and regional and country context. So school leadership frameworks can help provide guidance on the main characteristics, tasks, and responsibilities of effective leaders and signal the essential characters of school leadership as leadership of learning. They can be a basis for consistent recruitment, training, and appraisal of school leaders. These frameworks also should clearly define the major domains of responsibility for school leaders and allow for contextualization of local and school level criteria. They should be developed with involvement by the profession. So another way of redefining school leadership responsibilities is, of course, to develop school leadership framework for improved policy and practice. So according to scholars, there are core responsibilities of school leadership, and they are suggesting that an essential function of school leadership is to foster organizational learning that is built in the capacity of the school for high performance and continuous improvement through management of the curriculum and teaching program, development of staff, and creating the climate and conditions for collective learning. So these are some of the core responsibilities of school leadership that sets up mechanism for increased learning outcomes. The first one is managing the curriculum and teaching program. So school leaders generally have a range of discretion on how they design curriculum content and sequencing, organize teaching and instructional resources, and monitor quality. Since the curriculum core or framework does not usually specify the entire curriculum, as school leaders usually have flexibility to add or give additional emphasis to content. School leaders also must have a direct involvement in the design and implementation of the curriculum as one of the leadership practices because it will statistically have significant correlation with student achievement. So in general, okay, in general, uh, regular teaching evaluations or teacher evaluations involve the school principal and of course the senior school staff. So different criteria for evaluation may involve assessment of teaching performance, in-service training, and in some cases, measures of student performance. Classroom observation, interviews, and documentation prepared by the teacher are the typical methods used in the evaluations. Several research studies also indicate that school leader involvement in classroom observation and feedback seems to be associated with better student performance. In one study of Robinson in 2007, he cited four studies showing that setting teaching performance standards and regular classroom observations help to improve teaching. So, according to Bosman in 2007, using econometric analysis of the PISA data, showed that student achievement seems to be higher when teachers are held accountable through the involvement of principals and external inspectors or monitors in monitoring their lessons. So the third one is development. School leadership also plays a uh, the OECD in 2005 gave an overview of the extent of responsibilities schools have in establishing and funding professional development opportunities. Countries also, the different countries were there is more autonomy at the school level, also have greater funding capacities to develop more individualized training programs for teachers. And these are what we call as needs-based. So school leadership also plays a vital role in promoting and participating in professional learning and development for teachers. Again, OECD in 2005 gave an overview of the extent of responsibilities uh, schools have in establishing and funding professional development opportunities. So let us continue. No? In different countries where there is more autonomy at the school level, also have greater funding capacities to develop more individualized training programs for teachers. So different types of professional development activities actually exist simultaneously, but their relative weight has changed over the years. There are notes that school-based professional development activities involving the entire staff or a significant group of teachers are becoming common, and teacher-initiated teacher personal development probably less. So at least in terms of programs supported through the public funds. And most countries now link professional development to the developmental priorities of the school. And again, that is what we call as needs-based professional development activities. Uh, Lightwood, no, in 2006, emphasized the importance of developing people to improve the teaching and learning. Um, they underline the need to complement professional development programs with less formal support, such as individual consideration and intellectual simulation. And several studies also show that the role of school leadership in professional development is especially important on low performing schools in challenging circumstances. In their meta-analysis, no, of the research on school leadership that works, Marzano in 2005 identified leadership practices that recognize and reward individual accomplishment to demonstrate awareness of personal aspects of the staff as core practices of successful leadership. Another recent study, on leadership for organizational learning and student outcomes also showed the importance of ongoing relevant professional learning opportunities. It is emphasized not only organizational learning but a trusting and collaborative climate, shared and monitored mission, the capacity to take initiatives and risk, and ongoing relevant professional learning opportunities. It also shows that schools with effective leadership were also found to be schools where teachers were motivated to participate in training, showing connections between school leadership, school climate, and willingness to participate in professional development. So school leaders can play a key role in providing and promoting um, in-service professional development programs for teachers. It is essential that school leaders understand this aspect of leadership as one of their key responsibilities. They can ensure that teacher professional development is relevant to the local school context and aligned to the overall school improvement goals and with teachers' needs. To enhance school leaders' capacity to promote staff development, policymakers should also emphasize the core responsibility of teacher professional development and consider devolving discretion over training and development budgets to the school level so that school leaders can offer and coordinate meaningful professional learning opportunities for all their teachers. So the responsibility also of school leaders must stem from supporting collaborative work cultures. Since school leaders are increasingly being asked to promote organizational learning that enhances school ability to pursue intelligent learning processes in a way that increases the organization's effectiveness and the capacity for continuous improvement. So while teaching has been traditionally been practiced as a solo art behind closed classroom doors, a large body of convincing research in the last 2 decades favors teaching that is collegial and transparent, cooperative, collaborative, and conducted in teams and larger professional learning communities. Research also has shown that school leaders supporting teacher professional learning communities use norms of collegiality, collective responsibility, and shared goals, professional development, reflective practice, and quality improvement processes. They also promote trust among teachers by helping to develop clarity about common purposes and roles for collaboration. And they foster continuous dialogue among school staff and provide adequate resources to support collaboration. So school leaders and policymakers can promote and encourage teamwork among school staff by explicitly recognizing the core role of school leaders in building collaborative cultures and by sharing and disseminating best practices, particularly in this domain. So, how can school leaders redefine school leadership responsibilities for an improved and targeted student learning outcome? So, bearing in mind the need for contextualization, there seems to be ample evidence from research and country practices on which to encourage the country, the national, the regional, and local policy in schools, in the department, to use evidence on core leadership dimension as a basis for designing the job descriptions on their future leaders. To this end, there are four broad groups of interrelated leadership responsibilities that have consistently been identified as associated with improved learning outcomes. The first one is encourage co-leaders to support, evaluate, and develop teacher quality. Teacher quality is probably the most important school level determinant of student performance, and school leadership focus on improving the motivation, the capacities, and working environments of teachers is thus most likely to improve student learning. This is also to enhance the capacity of school leadership in supporting, evaluating, and developing teacher quality. Policymakers should need to take into these areas. So, strengthening school leaders' responsibility in curricular decision making is the first one, so that they can adapt the teaching program to local needs and ensure coherence across courses or grade levels to achieve goals and performance standards. And the next one is school leaders can provide training to teachers, or the school leaders also can provide training in teacher monitoring and evaluation, either as part of the initial training for school leaders or in forms of in-service professional training courses. This will also ensure that school leaders have the time and capacities necessary to fulfill the core task of teacher evaluations satisfactorily. And we have also enhancing the role of school leaders in teacher professional development. School leaders can ensure that teacher professional development is relevant to the local school context and align with overall school improvement goals with the teacher's needs. To enhance school leaders' capacities in developing uh, their staff, policymakers should consider devolving discretion over teacher training and development budgets to the school level. And of course, we are going to encourage school leaders to promote teamwork among teachers by explicitly recognizing the core of the core role of school leaders in building collaborative cultures by sharing and disseminating best practices in the schools. So the second one is to support goal setting, assessment, and accountability. Again, a goal setting, assessment, and school accountability are key responsibilities of school leaders in almost all countries. So in order to optimize school leaders' use of accountability systems for school improvement processes, they must need to ensure that a number of conditions are in place. Number one, provide school leaders with discretion over strategic direction setting, uh, and enhance their capacity to develop school plans and goals aligned with broader national curriculum standards and responsive to local needs. They must promote also data-wise leadership and provide support and training opportunities for school leaders to ensure that they have the knowledge and skills necessary to monitor progress and use data effectively to improve practice. And we have also encouraged our school leaders to distribute tasks related to assessment and accountability within schools by developing a group of people who are very, very competent and confident in using data to design appropriate improvement strategies. The third one is to enhance strategic financial and human resource management. Effective planning and management of resources, of course, can improve school outcomes by strategically aligning resources with pedagogical purposes. It is therefore important to ensure that school leaders are better equipped to make strategic use of resources. So under this one is we need to enhance the financial management skills of school leadership teams. This can be done by providing training in this domain to school leaders by establishing the role of a bursar of leadership team member with budgeting qualifications at the school level for larger schools or cluster of small schools, or by providing financial support or services to schools. Then we are going to involve school leaders also in teacher recruitment decisions. That's going to be the better, no? School leaders should be given opportunities to influence in decision making on teacher recruitment in order to improve a match between the school and selected candidate. At the same time, it is important that parallel steps are taken within the systems to professionalize school level recruitment process to avoid inequitable distribution of teacher quality and to protect teachers' rights. And the fourth one is to adopt systemic approach to leadership policy and practice. Of course, collaboration with partners, especially external partners to the school, is a new leadership dimension that is increasingly recognized as a clear role for school leaders, as it will benefit the school systems as a whole rather than just students in one individual school. For system leadership roles to be effective, school heads need to ensure that schools have time, capacities, administrative support, and tools to become involved in matters beyond their school borders. So we need to develop opportunities for school leaders, no, to cooperate actively with surrounding schools and the local community to ensure improved student trajectories, alignment of the curriculum to the local level, and coordinated course offerings and sharing of resources. So encourage also the distribution of leader responsibilities or leadership responsibilities to schools or within schools, so other people can ensure continuity in the core of leadership tasks within each individual school while school leaders are engaged in activities beyond the school border. So how can we ensure school mechanisms are in place? So bearing in mind the need for contextualization, there seems to be ample evidence from research and country practices on which to encourage country, regional, and local policy to use evidence on core leadership dimensions as a basis for designing job descriptions for their future leaders. So to this end, there are four broad groups of interrelated leadership responsibilities that have consistently been identified and associated with improved learning outcomes. So the first one is develop school leadership frameworks for improved policy and practice. School leadership frameworks can bring needed uniformity by providing a research-based metric for procedures intended to strengthen the field, like preparation and selection. So frameworks can also serve to signal the essential characteristics of school leadership as the provision of leadership for learning. Yet, space for contextualization is important to allow for local and school level criteria. So when developing and introducing leadership frameworks, there are a number of steps that we are going to consider. First, we're going to build on commitment, not compliance. No? School leadership frameworks can be developed with varying degrees of involvement by the profession. So to make frameworks relevant and ensure they can become real guidelines of practice, it is important that representatives from the school leadership profession are involved in their formulation and development. And we are going to provide also definitions of school leaders, major domains of responsibility. These domains should be guided by evidence of effective leadership practice as reviewed, no? As well as by concrete needs of the national, regional, division, and local education systems. And of course, the third one is we're going to use frameworks to provide coherence to different domains of school leadership policy. Framework should be provided or should provide guidance on the main characteristics, the tasks and responsibilities of effective school leaders. They can and should thus be used as a basis for recruitment, training, and appraisal of school leaders. So these are the three considerations or the steps that we will be considering when we are going to ensure school mechanisms be in place in our respective schools. So to end this session, I may leave a line saying leadership is always the capacity to translate our vision into reality. In the advent of the 21st century, school leaders, we are bound to make things happen. And things will only happen in school if we have a clear direction, clear strategies, and clear plans on how are we going to realize our targets, our directions, and how are we going to set up uh, smooth mechanism so that the flow of activities and the flow of services and the flow of the systems and processes in schools, in our schools, ensures its implementation. So, all in the Philippines, we are greeting everyone. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you so much, sir, for your rich content presentation, which can impact our knowledge seeker surely. After your presentation, I hope our knowledge seeker can learn something new, which was our only intention. Learn and grow together, IGP knowledge seeker. Once again, thank you so much, dear sir, for your presentation. Now, sir, it's time for our question and answer session, which is the one more valuable part of our regular webinar. Honorable sir, please stay with us. After a short video, we will back in our session part 2, which is the question answer part. Dear IGP Knowledge Seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have an webinar certification and online quiz competition. Dear IGP Knowledge Seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have an webinar certification and online quiz competition.
May, kay man. Aw na, kay madugay po man ako ini. Sa international global communities. Kaya mag-Q&A pa.
So our first question is from Leotrim. What are the main strategies would we use to improve a student achievement or performance? Thank you.
Okay. Um, there are many strategies, no, depending on the school context and the available data in the school, no. There are really more methods. There are a lot of methods and strategies that you can use in uh, in leading into the target to improve the student achievement or performance. But the school must establish before the school will choose appropriate methodology or strategy. School leaders and the school must set in place mechanisms first, or a system or a process in the implementation of the different programs and activities in the school level, gearing towards learning outcomes. Because strategies could not really be fitting in if the school leaders could not define I could not define or set up a particular system or process or mechanism in implementing the different programs, projects, and activities geared toward improvement of the student achievement or performance. So again, for this question, there are a lot of strategies that you can be used. There are many strategies, no, as research suggested. But the first thing that school leaders must do is to set up a mechanism that will ensure implementation of the different programs, projects, and activities in schools geared toward the improvement of the learning outcomes or the achievement and performance.
Thank you so much, sir, for your answer. Sir, our next question is from Swami. Good day, everyone. Good afternoon, sir. Why is vision important in leadership? What is the relationship between vision and leadership? Marming Salam.
Okay, a vision is very important in leadership. Leaders must be visionary. The vision will allow you to bring what's going to be the end goal of all the systems and the process and what you are doing in school. The vision will allow us to see what's in the end of mind, what's the end point of these project activities and with this leadership journey. So the vision will allow us to be guided on what is really our direction at the end of the day. Without vision, we might be lost somehow on what is going to be our goal at the end of the day. So, regarding the relationship between vision and leadership, visioning is part of leadership. That is the first step that you are going to do when you're going to decide on something. You decide on a policy, you decide on a guidelines, you decide on a program, you decide on a project. As leaders, you must have to be visionary and you have a vision on what is going to be the end point of this program, project, or activities, systems, or processes in the school level. Uh, Good leaders will always have good visions.
Thank you so much, sir, for your answer. Dear answer from our speaker, thank you. After question answer, we have an webinar certification and online quiz competition. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the box. Thank you. After question answer, we have an webinar certification and online quiz competition. Sir, I think we covered all the questions from our participants. Once again, thank you so much, sir, for your time in RGP. We have learned a lot from you, which for surely. After your presentation, can learn something new. It will add some value to our day-to-day activity along with our academic and professional growth. Honorable Sir, hope to see you again with a new topic and a new day. Thank you, sir. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Noha, and have a wonderful time with all of you.
Honorable Sir, before we move to the next webinar certification process, if you want to leave this studio, you can. Their IGP knowledge seeker is Dear IGP knowledge seeker, it's time for the webinar certification process, the most attractive and powerful part of our regular webinar. After a short video, we will start our webinar certification. After webinar certification, we have an online quiz competition and quiz certification. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, it's time for our webinar certification process, the most attractive and powerful part of our regular webinar. After webinar certification, we have an online quiz competition and certification. Provide the code within a short time. Thank you. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, it's time for the most engaging part of our regular webinar, which is an online quiz competition, which is our regular webinar online. Regular webinar activity. Now, time for the online quiz competition. To join the online quiz competition properly, please follow my instruction carefully. Go to www.slido.com and find today's quiz or scan this QR for direct joining. The quiz code is afternoon. After a short video, we will back with our quiz session and mention your friend to join the quiz. Please join in Slido with the code and the code is afternoon. Please join in Slido with the code and the code is afternoon. Please join in Slido with the code and the code is afternoon. Please join in Slido with the code and the code is afternoon. Please join in Slido with the code and the code is afternoon. Please join in Slido with the code and the code is afternoon. With 36 people, we are going to start our quiz session right now. Our first question is, which coping mechanism is least likely to improve the patient's symptoms? Option 1, listening to sad song. Option 2, doing some exercise. Option 1, listening to sex music is the right answer. 43% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Marvelous is holding the first position. Our second question is, when we practice effective listening, we find that it will, option 1, solve problems by allowing the speaker and listener to clarify their thoughts. Option 2, decrease job performance. Option 1, solve problems by allowing speaker and listener to clarify their thoughts. Right answer, 97% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Marvelous is holding the first position. Our third question is, influencing the public attitude toward the cosmetology school educator are sharing. Option 1, the lessons being taught. Option 2, the various services and products that are offered by the school. Option 2, the various service and product that are offered by the school is the right answer. 82% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Leah is holding the first position. Our fourth question is, which response by the patient demonstrate that the medication education about an antidepressant was effective? Option 1, once I feel better, I can stop whenever I want to. Option 2, if want to discontinue this medication, I need to talk to the provider first. Option 2, if want to discontinue this medication, I need to talk to a provider first. Right answer, 44% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Leah is holding the first position. Our fifth question is, Pam hard in school because her parents give her money for S. This is an example of option 1, primary need. Option 2, extrinsic motivation. Option 2, extrinsic motivation is the right answer. 73% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Leah is holding the first position. Our sixth question is, which outcome become major achievement of risk for studies, risk for suicide, hopelessness from loss of relationship? Option 1, the client expressed some optimism and hope for the future. Option 2, the client was expired no physical harm to herself. Option 2, the client has expired no physical harm to herself. The right answer, 34% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Leah is holding the first position. Our seventh question is, APT is losing interest in his school and love wants activity which manifestation in the adolescent presenting. Option 1, affect. Option 2, behavioral changes. Option 2, behavioral change is the right answer. 84% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Leah is holding the first position. Our eighth question is how effective are condoms? Option 1 85 to 98, option 2 52%. Option 1 85 to 98 is the right answer. 66% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Leah is holding the first position. Our ninth question is achievement tests are two. Aptitude test is S, option 1. Elementary school skill are 2. Secondary school skill, option 2. Measurement is 2. Reduction. Option 2. Measurement is 2. Reduction is right answer. 43% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Jewelen is holding the first position. Our last and final question of this session is in flexion mechanism injuries, we can find option 1 ordinary fracture, option 2 tears of paravertebral measurement. Option 2 tear of paravertebral muscular. Right answer. 60% people are right. Congratulations to our online quiz competition winner top 10. Congratulations again. Slide will take a few minutes for finalizing the result and after that we will issue our online quiz competition certificate on our official Facebook page and group. Sorry, Institute of Global Professionals. Congratulations to our online quiz competition winner top 10. Congratulations again. Slido will take a few minutes for finalizing the result and after that we will issue our online quiz competition certificate on our official Facebook page and group Institute of Global Professionals. Congratulations to our online quiz competition winner top 10. Congratulations again. Slide will take a few minutes for finalizing the result and after that we will issue our online quiz competition certificate on our official Facebook page and group Institute of Global Professionals. At the end of our session, we can say properly feed your skill, never stop learning, cause life never stop teaching us. Be happy and stay safe. See you again and again. We want your participation in every program. If you want to live a happy life, try to a goal, not to people or things. Albert Einstein. Before I say or hit the end like button, again wants to thank all RGP knowledge seekers for your active participation as always. See you again in the next session. Thank you. Aku cuma cuma timing doang.